We've got a fun little comparison video between two of my favorite chorus pedals today, the Boss DC-2 Wazacraft and the Free the Tone Tri-Avatar. Now, both of these do that 80s chorus thing very well, but they do different styles of chorus that were popular on a lot of 80s style tones. The Dimension, to me, is a much more subtle stereo enhancing effect. A lot of the time, it's the type of chorus you want if you don't really like chorus, whereas the Tri-Avatar is emulating the iconic rack mount Ditronics CS5 Tri-Stereo Chorus, which is the type of chorus you want when you really like chorus. Let's do a very quick side-by-side with a really plastic, clean sound between my favorite mode on the DC-2, mode 3 on the SDD 320 mode, and just the Tri-Avatar with all knobs at noon. I'm using the neck and middle pickups on this Fender Ultra Luxe Vintage. It sounds like this. Now, I get it. The Tri-Avatar has a lot of controls to tweak, and the DC-2 has a bunch of buttons on there, basically chorus presets. So make of that comparison what you will, but I think it gives you a good indication of the signature sound of each pedal on there. We can make the DC-2 a little more deep and wobbly by pressing multiple buttons at the same time. So let's hear mode 3 and 4 together against those settings on the Tri-Avatar. Then we'll go back to mode 3 on the Dimension, and I will turn the rate down on the Tri-Avatar to make it a little more subtle. I'm actually surprised at how close the character is on there. Again, the Tri-Avatar is very, very adjustable if you want rotary style sounds out of it, if you want to play around with the individual depth controls to change the stereo image on there. There's so much that you can do, but it is cool to know that if you own either of these pedals, there is some overlap on there. Let's hear some dirty sounds now. I'm going to compare the settings that we had before. So I'll go back to mode 4 on the DC-2 and the Tri-Avatar with the rate down a little bit. Then I'll go back to mode 3 on the DC-2 and the Tri-Avatar with everything at noon, what I would consider the signature sound of each pedal. I think the differences are probably more pronounced with all that distortion on there, and it makes me just kind of want to lean into the individual character of each pedal. I kind of like the DC-2 with gain for rhythm stuff, but I think the Tri-Avatar adds a little bit more character on the lead tones on there. And again, being adjustable, you can change the mix, you can change the individual left, right, and center depth controls on there, and the rates. If you wanted to do a rotary style thing or you wanted something really subtle, you can get that out of it. And with the DC-2, well, it's presets. So if you like what it does, it's the easiest and most satisfying pedal to use. If you don't like what it does, then there's no way to adjust that on there outside of pressing different buttons. There you go. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Which one did you like the sound of more? Which one are you using on your board? I think the DC-2 is such a no-brainer if you want an 80s style sound, whether it's 80s hair metal and prog metal or whether it's new wave and post-punk sounds. I think it really is an easy way to get into that sound. They're widely available, they're relatively affordable. Whereas the Tri-Avatar is definitely one for the chorus connoisseurs. It can get close to what the Dimension does, but it offers so much more with all the adaptability and tweakability on there. Plus, it's got presets on there and MIDI, which is greatly appreciated if you were using this for a bunch of different sounds. I'd love to hear from all of you though. What are you using on your board, and what style of music are you playing with either of these pedals? Or is there anything else that you would suggest throwing into the mix for a future chorus comparison video? Now we have to hear both of these together, right? So I will play you all out with that plastic clean sound again, and we'll add the Dimension to the Tri-Avatar. What a glorious combination this is. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, there's links to support me directly in the video description. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.